Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tyler and I just do consistent content, all things related to hockey and the NHL overall. And I was trying to do this video last night, but I just couldn't. It was way too late Eastern time for me. But yes, the Vegas Golden Knights defeated the Chicago Blackhawks in that best-of-7 first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, only needing to get ready for this 5 games and doing so. Wow, did this Vegas Golden Knights team impress. Coming right in from the round robin, looking fantastic still, and they did not skip a beat from game 1 all the way to the end of game 5. So that's what I'll be discussing with you today. My thoughts on this series, a review of it, and what is next for these two teams involved, and not just the Vegas Golden Knights, of course, but also the Chicago Blackhawks. But are you new to the channel? If so, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you end up enjoying this kind of hockey content, thank you all so much that's been following me thus far. We just passed 400 subscribers, so thank you all again who are new to the channel or who have previously been on the channel. It means so much to me. Now help us reach 1K, because once we get there, we can start doing live streams. If you guys are interested in that, I can give you commentary on the actual games, live games, or things like the NHL draft and stuff beyond that. A lot of things can happen regarding live streams, and I really can't wait till we hit 1K so I can make that a reality for you lovely people. But without further ado, let's get right into this video. Wow, what a series this was, and hats off just to a couple Chicago Blackhawks to start things off. The captain, Jonathan Toews, looked really strong, and not just this, but also the round robin and even the exhibition. I shouldn't say round robin, the exhibition games. He really did not skip a beat since the NHL returned to play, and it looks like Jonathan Toews of old in a lot of situations. So that was great to see. Same thing with Patty Kane. Even though he didn't put up the goal scoring as much, he only had 1 goal in this series itself. He still did put up the points, and Corey Crawford made some huge saves and had a huge monstrous game for them, and their only win in this series. So hats off to just the veterans getting the job done. And yes, I know that this Chicago Blackhawks team really wasn't expected to do much of anything this year, so just making it to the first round of playoffs I think is a huge accomplishment for them and is great for their development when it comes to young players on that team going forward. So hats off to them. Yes, this was a tough series, of course, going up against this Vegas Golden Knights team. Wow, did they look awesome, and they are definitely not even a dark horse. They are definitely looking more and more like a cup favorite to at least get to the Stanley Cup. They have looked that good, and I think in a year where there wasn't nearly as much expectations with them, as they kind of had a roller coaster season, of course firing Gerard Gallant in a somewhat surprising move to many, and then bringing in Peter DeBoer, of all guys, who we know was the previous head coach of the San Jose Sharks. That was very surprising in itself, but he's looking like he's gelling pretty well with his Vegas Golden Knights team. It looks like they are definitely rallying around behind him, and having that two-headed monster of a goaltending tandem between Robin Lehner and Marc-Andre Fleury, Flower, if you will, and Panda, I think that's a great connection. They have really proven that they are one of, if not the best goaltending tandem in the NHL playoffs today. But let's get right into their stats. Well, in this series, Vegas outscored the Chicago Blackhawks 15 goals to 11, and in almost every single game in the series except one, Vegas had at least around 15 shots or more than the Chicago Blackhawks in total shots. They were just ridiculous. They were averaging between 35 and 40. I believe the most shots they had in one game was 49, and that's when Crawford actually won it for them. That was a crazy game. I think he had 46 saves in that one, but Vegas was relentless this entire series, taking full advantage of this kind of fairly young defense in the Chicago Blackhawks, besides the likes of Duncan Keith, of course, but they definitely have some younger guys on the blue line now. Adam Boqvist looks like he's going to be fantastic for them, but he still has developing to do, and just the lack of maturity on this offensive front too when it comes to being defensively sound has been evident in this series as well. Vegas is such a strong two-way team when it comes to their forwards back-checking, forechecking, all those things. They just completely outmatched Chicago for basically this entire series, and that showed all the way through. But then you have, when it comes to the point leaders for each team, you have for the Vegas Golden Knights, you have Mark Stone leading the way with 8 points, really looking solid. One of the best two-way forwards in the NHL today. Really love his overall game, and he is definitely a guy you want to have on your team if you're expecting to have a deep playoff run. But then you have other guys like, of course, Riley Smith, 8 points, really looking strong as well. He can put up the goals for you, and he has really been a very solid acquisition for Vegas since they first created their franchise, of course, coming over from the Florida Panthers. But then you get a Shea Theodore, who in my mind is easily a top 10, if not top 15 defenseman in the NHL this past season. Had a great year, finally put up numbers that were expected of him, or at least one above expectations, if you will. Had 7 points in the series, including 4 goals for the defenseman. Love his story, all the adversities he's overcome in his young career, as you probably know by now. Just amazing story there. Alex Tuch had 4 goals in this series, and I think that's huge. Tuch is a guy who, when healthy, is a very dominant power forward, if you will. Has a big body right-hand shot, can really shoot the puck, and is very great one-on-one against the opposing defense. He's very difficult to get off the puck at times, and he's really a guy who, in my mind, could definitely be an X-factor for this Vegas Golden Knights team going forward farther into this year's playoffs. But then you get a Robin Lehner Panda. He has an amazing record against teams that he previously played for, and that continued in this series. In total, with all the games he played, not just in this first round, but also in the round robin, he has 5 wins and 1 loss, and has a goals allowed average of 2.43 and a save percentage of 904. So definitely looking strong there. And then you have Marc-Andre Fleury, who did play 1 game in this series, and it was a win for Vegas. Had 2 wins in total between that and the round robin. Had a goals allowed average of 250 and a save percentage of 886. So not great numbers there, but look, Vegas is in a fantastic situation having this 2-headed monster. Really can bake on anyone. And one of my bold predictions for this year's playoffs was that we would see more and more situations where these playoff teams would, yes, indeed, rotate their goaltenders on a more game-by-game basis. And that has been evident, especially with having many back-to-back games. I think has increased that possibility. But regardless, I'm happy to see that that prediction has come to fruition. It really makes a lot of sense for a lot of these teams who have a 1A and 1B goaltending tandem, especially going into this year's playoffs. But then you get to the Chicago Blackhawks. Jonathan Toews, the captain, led the way in points. And yes, I'm also including the points that they had in their exhibition games. Had 9 points, and then Kane had 9 points as well, including only 1 goal in this series, but he still had a couple goals in total from the exhibition games. And Dominik Kubalik, the 24-year-old rookie phenom, had 8 points. I'm really excited to see what his future holds. 30-plus goals on the season. I think he could very well be a consistent 25-30 goal guy for Chicago going forward. Him alongside guys like DeBrincat especially. I think DeBrincat is going to have a huge bounce-back year next year. Watch out. Chicago Blackhawks, they're going to have a deadly offense once again real soon. As long as Jonathan Toews can kind of keep up the pace that he had this year on a kind of rejuvenated Jonathan Toews, looking more of his old self, then I think great things are going to happen for them. But then you have Corey Crawford, who in total with all the games he played had 4 wins, 5 losses, a goals allowed average of 3.31, and a save percentage of 907. But don't let those stats faze you. Given the poor defense that Chicago played in front of him throughout the majority of this playoff, of course, Crawford looked fantastic. He made some monstrous saves. It was a huge part as to why the Blackhawks even had a remote chance of winning some of these games, not just between, of course, the qualifying round, I should say, not exhibition games, but the qualifying round and, of course, the first round of playoffs. But overall, this series was easily outmatched with Vegas in favor here. They just were the better team. It's as simple as that. So Vegas is going to go on now to play, I believe, the 4th seed coming out of this first round, which is great for them. I believe whoever is the first seed would be Vegas because they are the first to advance to that second round of playoffs. And for whatever reason I'm wrong, make sure to let me know in the comments. But look, this has been a great series. I'm very excited to see what Vegas is going to do. Who are they going to play as the 4th seed? Is it going to be whoever wins the Stars and Flames series, because that very well could go a best of 7, or is it going to be the St. Louis Blues and Canucks series, because as of right now, at the time of recording this, they're still tied 2-2 in that series, so that one could very well go deep to a best of 7 possibly. I'm not sure, but what I do know is that Vegas is going to have some time to rest, even though they don't necessarily need a lot of rest given that they had 4+ months off. I think it will definitely help them and benefit them going forward. So congrats, Vegas Golden Knights fans. You definitely deserve this. I hope for your guys' sake you have a deep playoff run. And for Chicago Blackhawks fans, look, you guys weren't expected to do much of anything this year. So you beat the Edmonton Oilers in quite impressive fashion in that qualifying round, and now you made it to the first round playoffs. And yes, you did get kicked out, but look, this is great for your young development going forward. And look, your team could very well be on the cusp of playoff contention next year. You made some strong signings coming out of Europe this year. Let's see how your draft does. But overall, Chicago Blackhawks fans, I hope you enjoyed this little run you guys had, at least, because it was definitely impressive to see. say the least. But thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Like I said, help us reach 1K. I really think that we will get there sooner than later, and that way I can start live streaming and doing a lot of great things for this channel if I haven't already. But thank you all so much again, guys. I really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Vegas Golden Knights fans, how hyped are you to be advancing to the second round of playoffs? Do you guys think you will have the potential to be a Stanley Cup winning team this year? Let me know in the comments below. And Blackhawks fans, I know you're a little upset, but look, you had a very impressive run, a immaculate run, if you will, with really overcoming all these adversities, all these naysayers, really including myself at times with thinking Chicago wouldn't even win that qualifying round. So hats off to you, hats off to the captain, Jonathan Toews, and other guys on their roster. They really impressed me in this short stint in this 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs. But thank you all so much for watching again. Check out my previous videos and expect more today with teams more likely to be eliminated from the playoffs today. So thank you all again, guys, and I'll be back probably later today.